What if Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Sidious, Chancellor Palpatine all died on the invisible hand? So after General Grievous escapes, Kenobi, Skywalker, and Palpatine are trying to fly half the ship back to Coruscant, but it crash lands and explodes, or it just gets lit on fire and they all get burned, or someone just shoots it by accident. So Kenobi, Skywalker, Sidious, Palpatine are all dead. Firstly, the Jedi Council will move to take control of the Senate because without Palpatine in the picture, the Jedi would be able to control things more easily. And so the Jedi would capture Mas Amedda, or maybe they would force him to work with them, work for them. And the Jedi would also terminate Sly Moore. And so the Jedi Council would take over the Senate and try to negotiate an end to the war. Whereas on the Separatist side, General Grievous would still want to continue the war, although he would have no guidance because Count Dooku would be dead and Darth Sidious would have mysteriously disappeared. Because obviously Palpatine would be dead, but Grievous does not know that Palpatine is Sidious. And so the Separatist Council and General Grievous would not know what to do, but they would try to continue the war as long as possible. Meanwhile, on Mandalore, Darth Maul would realize that both Darth Sidious and Anakin Skywalker are dead, and he would see a fresh opportunity. So Darth Maul would abandon Mandalore and leave right away. And it's possible that Maul keeps the Mandalorians with him, or maybe he just abandons them. But either way, Maul escapes Mandalore, and so Ahsoka Tano would go back to Coruscant, and Bo-Katan would just take over Mandalore. And eventually, the Jedi Council would track down General Grievous, and maybe Yoda or Mace Windu would go to kill Grievous, and that would bring an end to the war, and the Jedi Council would capture the Separatist Council, and they would force all the droid armies to shut down. Meanwhile, Ahsoka Tano would be very sad and depressed that Anakin Skywalker was killed, and she would just quit and just go away. And Darth Maul would be getting his criminals ready to assault the galaxy, and it's possible that Maul would reach out to some of the former separatists in this case to get them on his side, because obviously with the Jedi having trying to take control of the galaxy, there would be a lot of separatists who are very angry. And in this case, I will actually backtrack and say that Maul maybe just keeps some of the Mandalorians around and tries to keep the neutral systems on his side because he needs the neutral systems and the separatists. And in the real timeline, obviously Maul didn't care about any of the neutral systems or separatists or any of that because he knew that Sidious was just going to control them all. But with Sidious dead, it really changed the story a lot. So Maul would also try to figure out what exactly the clones were intended to be used for, and maybe Maul would figure out about Order 66 and maybe find a way to do that. But yes, so with Darth Sidious, Anakin Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi dead on the invisible hand, the Jedi Council would just take over the entire Republic, and the Separatists, Grievous, and this Council would try to fight, but eventually Jedi would overpower them. But the real volatile card out there is Darth Maul, who would have his criminals. So it'd be Darth Maul versus the Jedi Council at this point.